The groovy world of the 1960s was an era that left an unforgettable mark on history and the hearts of those who lived it. But did you know the moon landing almost didn't happen? Or that color TV had a surprisingly colorful history of its own? Join us on an exciting journey as we delve into the iconic moon landing that left the world in awe and explore the revolutionary miniskirt, fashion that redefined style. In this video, we'll be uncovering 10 things all 1960s kids fondly remember. Starting off at number 10, we have American muscle cars. In the mid-1960s, a revolution was roaring down the highways, the birth of American muscle cars. These weren't just cars, they were powerful symbols of automotive performance and style. Who knew that revving engines and sleek designs could cause such a stir? It's like they said, why have a midlife crisis when you can have a muscle car? Two-door sports coupes with engines that roared like lions, initially designed for the drag racing scene, soon found their way into the hearts of speed enthusiasts on the streets. The muscle car era was a golden age of high-performance, affordable cars, where manufacturers took basic trimmed, intermediate-sized cars and inserted engines that were just pure adrenaline. Iconic examples like the 1964 Pontiac GTO, 1965 Chevrolet Chevelle, and the 1968 Plymouth Roadrunner embodied this trend. As the decade unfolded, muscle cars evolved, embracing luxury features and optional equipment. Budget muscle cars like the 1967 Plymouth GTX and 1968 Dodge Super Bee emerged, adding a touch of class to the horsepower-fueled frenzy. It was a horsepower war among manufacturers, with some models boasting a jaw-dropping 450 horsepower by 1970. Moving on to number 9, we have the color TV. In 1953, the United States made a strategic decision by adopting the NTSC color TV system, which seamlessly integrated with existing black and white TVs. This foresight spared viewers the burden of discarding their old sets to embrace the spectrum of color. The transition was a thoughtful stride towards inclusivity, allowing audiences to revel in the new without bidding farewell to the old. As the 1970s dawned, the colorful wave of change had overtaken North America. Color televisions, once a luxury, began to outsell their monochromatic counterparts, forever altering the visual landscape of home entertainment. Next up, at number 8, we have wearing go-go boots. Now let's groove to the fashion scene of the 60s, where go-go boots took the world by storm. Though low-heeled mid-calf boots had been around since 1964, it was Nancy Sinatra's 1966 hit "These Boots Are Made for Walkin'" that catapulted go-go boots to must-have status. Did anyone else try to dance the go-go away and end up with a go-go sprain? Admit it, we've all been there. These hip boots weren't just a style statement, they were a symbol of empowerment, allowing women to confidently strut their stuff and, if need be, walk all over those cheating ex-boyfriends. Now let's shift gears to number 7 and groove into the world of the hippie movement, a free-spirited revolution that sprouted in the early 60s. Ever wondered what happens when you mix European social movements with the Beat Generation? Apparently you get a bunch of folks who really like nature, communal living, and, a bit of artistic experimentation. The transition from beatnik to hippie became official at the 1967 Human Be-In in San Francisco, where the crowd chanted and adorned themselves in vibrant psychedelic clothing. Hippies were all about expressive individuality, often wearing theatrical costumes for their musical adventures. A crucial moment came in 1966, at the Love Pageant rally in San Francisco, where the movement protested the criminalization of substance use, emphasizing its role in self-exploration and artistic expression. Next up, at number 6, meet G.I. Joe, the action figure extraordinaire that became the talk of every playground in the 60s. Dreamed up in 1963 by Stanley Weston, a witty Manhattan licensing agent, G.I. Joe caught the eye of Donald Levine, a bigwig at Hasbro. Levine had a hunch these military action figures would be a hit, and boy was he right. In 1964, these figures, representing different branches of the U.S. Armed Forces, marched into the hearts of kids everywhere. Now here's the twist. Instead of calling them dolls, a term usually associated with girls' toys, they coined the phrase action figures to make them super cool for boys. In a groundbreaking move, an African-American figure joined the ranks in 1965, even though it shared the same mold as its white counterpart. G.I. Joe became such a legend that it earned a spot in the National Toy Hall of Fame in 2004 and the Pop Culture Hall of Fame in 2017. Who else had a G.I. Joe battle going on in their backyard? At number 5 on our time-traveling journey, let's twist and shout with the Beatles. If you were a kid in the 60s, you couldn't escape the infectious tunes of this fabulous four from Liverpool. Starting out in the early 60s, they took the music scene by storm, playing in clubs before hitting the big time with Love Me Do in 1962. And by 1964, the Beatles were not just a British sensation, they were global superstars. They even made a movie, A Hard Day's Night, showcasing their charm and musical magic. In 1966, they shifted gears, bidding farewell to live performances and diving into more complex records like Rubber Soul and Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. Beyond music, the Beatles were a cultural force, influencing everything from fashion to social attitudes. If you didn't try to mimic their haircuts at least once, did you really grow up in the 60s? Moving on, at number 4 we have the miniskirt. In 1961, the miniskirt made its debut, casually flirting just above the knee. But oh boy, by 1966, it had boldly climbed its way up to the upper thigh, becoming the talk of the town. This fashion rebellion wasn't happening in any ordinary city. It was born and bred in the vibrant streets of London, breaking free from the conservative lengths that skirts were accustomed to. Two names that rocked the miniskirt revolution were Mary Quant in London and André Courrèges in Paris. These designers were like the rock stars of the fashion world, turning the miniskirt into a symbol of liberation. Forget those tight, curve-hugging skirts from the 50s. The miniskirts of the 60s boasted a simple, slightly flared A-line shape, giving ladies the freedom to move and groove. But what's a miniskirt without some killer accessories? Colored tights or knee-high socks were the go-to partners in crime, as traditional stockings with garters were just too impractical with those short hemlines. And here's a fun fact. In the UK, skirts shorter than 24 inches were considered children's garments and got a pass on purchase tax. Now at number 3, let's talk about The Twilight Zone, a mind-bending anthology series that ran from 1959 to 1964. Imagine a mix of fantasy, science fiction, horror, and psychological thrills, all packaged with a surprising twist and a moral lesson at the end. This show wasn't afraid to tackle serious issues like nuclear war, McCarthyism, and mass hysteria, themes that were often avoided in other primetime shows. Even famous writers like Ray Bradbury lent their brilliance to the series. Despite initial skepticism about the depth of science fiction, Serling's on-screen charisma and the show's unique style made it an enduring classic. For number 2, let's step onto the baseball diamond with the New York Yankees. In 1960, they had a solid season but faced a surprising loss in the World Series to the Pittsburgh Pirates. Talk about a curveball. The next year, in 1961, they came back swinging, having one of their best seasons ever. The Yankees won a ton of games and clinched the World Series against the Cincinnati Reds. Legends like Mickey Mantle and Roger Maris were smashing home runs, with Maris even breaking a major record. The winning streak continued in 1962 as the Yankees battled their way to another World Series victory, this time against the San Francisco Giants. In 1963, they had a strong season but faced heartbreak, losing the World Series to the Los Angeles Dodgers. The drama continued in 1964, with another intense season, yet they narrowly lost to the St. Louis Cardinals in the World Series. Change was in the air for the Yankees after that. With a new manager stepping up to the plate, it was a time of highs, lows, and a whole lot of baseball history. And finally, at number 1, we have the moon landing, because nothing says out of this world like strapping humans to a rocket and shooting them into space. Let's touch down on the moon. July 20th, 1969, a day etched in history. The Apollo 11 mission made an epic touchdown, marking the first time humans set foot on the lunar surface. Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin became the pioneers, with around 500 million people worldwide glued to their television screens, witnessing this awe-inspiring moment in real time. It was the largest TV audience for a live broadcast at that time, showcasing the monumental achievement of the United States in the space race. Apollo 11 was just the beginning, with a total of 6 crewed U.S. landings on the moon between 1969 and 1972. The United States proudly remains the only country to have successfully conducted crewed missions to the moon, with the final mission departing in December 1972. In total, 12 brave men have left their mark on the lunar surface, with Gene Cernan being the last to step off. From the moon landing that united the world in awe to the amazing American muscle cars, the 60s were a kaleidoscope of innovation, daring choices, and monumental achievements, proving that sometimes the past is the most captivating adventure of all. What's your favorite memory or moment from the 1960s? Did you have a favorite G.I. Joe action figure or a beloved Beatles song that defined your 60s experience? Leave your answers in the comments section below, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Thank you for watching. We'll see you guys soon.